Good evening and welcome to Seven Sports' big replay of the interstate match between South Australia and Western Australia at Football Park. A good crowd of 27,283 went to Football Park today. A very important game for both sides, of course, because there's another match coming up through the year in Perth in July. So it was most important for South Australia to win in Adelaide today, and likewise it was very important for Western Australia to do well. As I said, over 27,000 people in attendance. South Australia had quite a few changes to the side that did so very well against Victoria. Rick Davies was left out of the 21, and sitting on the interchange bench for South Australia today were Russell Ebert, Greg McAdam and Peter Carey. They were the three that sat on the interchange, and Platten, McGuinness and Nayley, surprisingly, all took the field on the 18. For Western Australia today, they had 8 newcomers to the side that had beaten South Australia by 87 points last year. They had some great experience with Graham Moss, Ron Alexander, Stephen Michael, who's won 2 Sandover medals, Peter Spencer, a Sandover medalist. Warren Ralph was a player that we had heard a lot about. Ralph had kicked 127 goals last season and has 63 goals so far this season in 11 games. And also a giant of a ruckman in John Ironmonger, who is apparently the tallest player ever to represent Western Australia. Over 27,000 people at Football Park. We pick it up at the start. Your commentators Peter Marker and Ian Day.
Umpire Des Foster holds the ball aloft to get away the opening of the big clash between Western Australia and South Australia at the Football Park in Adelaide. Bounce down, players stack up quickly, and the umpire will come in and bounce. Umpire Foster joined by umpire Phillips for Western Australia. Ironmonger coming in from the left of the screen against Johnson, who got up high. Quickly the handball went out, aerial ping pong at the moment. A chance for Western Australia to go forward through Michael, got a bad bounce. Western almost got the kick away. Quickly in there for South Australia now is Paul Belton, who appears to be playing centre, and he's going to take a free kick from between centre and wing to put South Australia into attack. Kicking with a slight breeze, possibly worth a goal or so to the lake end of Football Park. Evans is in the goal score, wants it in high. Goal square, kicks in towards the half-forward line now, setting himself Ironmonger in defence. Can't quite bring it down, and the umpire has seen another free kick, and it's going to the giant ruckman from Western Australia, and this is John Ironmonger. Oh, the kick is an awful one. Into the man on the mark, quickly into South Australia now is Jenkins. He gets floored, gets it across now. Going in for South Australia is Andrew Aish towards full forward, but Alexander takes the mark in defence. Quickly finds Taylor is Rover. Taylor back towards centre wing. Setting himself for South Australia is John Riley.
John Riley playing half-back for South Australia today. Plays it on. Evans was on a lead, but he stopped. Now he's jostling for position. Can't mark. Western Australia playing the defensive role very well. Taylor moving it on now to Blackwell. Wayne Blackwell in the centre of the ground, and Western Australia looking for Moss. Over Moss's head, that's Eckerman. Dropped the ball when he shouldn't have. Through the pack, Gary Shaw for Western Australia. Dummies around a player extremely well. I think he's got a goal. Good movement there from Western Australia, and it ended up with Gary Shaw, and Western Australia get the first one here at Football Park, and they lead a goal, and South Australia have yet to score.
Peter, a mistake in defence there caused that goal for Western Australia. A dash at the ball by one of the South Australian defenders, left it behind, and Gary Shaw, showing tremendous pace, whipped in and picked it up into the open goal, and Western Australia off to a great start.
Looks like Gary Shaw and Kevin Taylor arriving for Western Australia. Johnson high for South Australia, got the ball clear. Fry couldn't pick it up. Stephen Michael comes in for the Sandgropers. Fry is tackled, didn't have the ball, and Stephen Michael will take the free kick. Eddie Fry will take the free kick.
Fry from centre field to put South Australia, a mammoth kick, almost 70 metres up towards Evans, in front, can't bring it down. A bad bounce. Here's a chance now for South Australia through Michael Graham, hooks round, it's going to be Shaw. Evans sets himself, Holden thumps the ball away. In there towards McGuinness, can't quite get there. Once again it's Michael Graham, but a free kick is going to South Australia, and I think it'll probably be taken by Andrew Aish, is it, in the right forward pocket? Yes, it will be. I didn't see what the... It was a push in the back, said Peter Marker, and it's 35 metres out, 45-degree angle. Andrew Aish, the brother of last year's Magarey medalist Michael, from the forward pocket. The umpire starts to move too far, and it's only 1 point to South Australia. That's their sole score. Western Australia has a goal.
Hayes is at centre half back now for Western Australia. Peter Carey onto the field. for South Australia, and there's a kick out from Holden. The pack goes high. Carey knocked it forward. Intercepting for Western Australia there was Phil Cronin. It comes out to Ralph Sewer onto that dangerous left foot. I think Sewer's got one. South Australia reply. 1-1, leading the West, 1 goal.
Well done, Ralph Sewer, but what a fine handball came out of the pack. Sewer didn't waste the opportunity. He jammed it onto his foot very quickly. It was a high one, just floated inside the goalpost, and South Australia have hit the front. 1-1, they lead Western Australia a goal, and we've played 4 minutes of the first quarter.
Sewer playing at half forward for South Australia. Paul Weston running on the ball. 28 for Western Australia is Ironmonger. He puts the left hand to the ball. Kicking the ball clear for South Australia is Paul Belton. Narkle for Western Australia. He was tackled high. A bit lucky, he dropped the ball as well. Plays on immediately, Narkle. He's been a good interstate player for a long time. Building it further is Manane. That gives Moss a chance. Moss is not too quick these days, but he's got a good football head. Knocking it forward is Jenkins to Carey. Carey swamped the ball, but the handball is straight to Moss. Not good football. Moss goes to full forward. That gives Ralph a chance, but the ball is knocked away. Dexter Kennedy's on the end of it for South Australia. If he picks it up, he's in business. Finally gets boot to ball, and that goes to centre half forward. Who's home for South Australia? Hayes high for the West. Sewer got the crumbs. Beautiful move of Sewer. Onto the left boot, looking for Evans at full forward. One out. Holden, Evans. Holden did it well, and the ball's taken off pack and knocked through for 1 point. South Australia 1-2, Western Australia 1 goal.
Holden to bring the ball back into play. Michael gives him a lead, grandstand side, going towards that player. Beautifully passed, well led. He's got it on the half-back line. The dual Sandover medalist gets the ball back towards centre wing, and a nice mark has been taken there by Manane, and he wasn't paid. The umpire's come into bounce now at centre wing. Manane number 2. Number 5 for Western Australia is Wayne Blackwell, the centre player.
Certainly appeared to mark the ball in, and Des Foster was pretty close to it.
Ironmonger against Carey, having his first run for the afternoon. The tackle comes away. Maley is grabbed. The tackle is ball held to him. A good tackle put on him there by Kevin Taylor, but the umpire will come in and bounce. Carey coming in almost check side. It was Ironmonger's tap away. Well read now by number 18 for Western Australia, and that is Phil Cronin. Gets to the half-forward line. A handball out. Moss. Beautifully done, Ralph. Moss into the open goal. He's got it. Great football by Western Australia. Quick as you like. Good handballing. And they've got their second goal on the board. The first to Graham Moss.
There's no doubt about Warren Ralph at full forward. He's a magnificent player. Got a lot of balance, and he's a very smooth mover, and he come out and picked that ball up very well. Mossy was where he should have been. The handball came out, and Graham Moss has won a Brownlow medal in Victoria. He can certainly play football, and Western Australia doing it well. 2 goals to South Australia, 1-2.
Brown would be happy with the start. Carey against Ironmonger. Line ball on that occasion. The ball comes towards Daly. He uses his pace to break clear. He's on his left leg. Evans and Holden. Evans, Holden, great mark. Put one hand up and brought it down beautifully. Beating Evans at the moment, playing sensible football as he boots it back towards centre wing, and Michael not paid the mark. Weston comes away, back in towards Evans again. Going to be short of that player. The bounce favours Holden. Fumbles the first opportunity. Supporting him there is Gibbs. But the ball is booted away by that player, back up towards the half-back line. South Australia through Ace. Can't pick it up at the one grab. In business now on the half-forward line. Puts it in high again. Evans, Holden, Evans. Thumped away again. First in will be Platten. Can't keep the ball in play, and it's out of bounds in the full forward right pocket. 2 goals Western Australia, 1-2 South Australia.
It's early days, but Western Australia have picked a pretty good fullback for Tim Evans. Ray Holden, he's big and strong. He can certainly mix it with another big, strong bloke in Evans. It's a free kick being handed out there to South Australia for a high tackle. And that player is John Platten. Plays for the Central Districts Club here in South Australia, and a young rover with a lot of promise. The kick for goal is coming back. The umpire has indicated 6 points. South Australia hit the front. That's Platten's first goal. South Australia 2-2, leading Western Australia 2 goals. Kicking off for South Australia is Dexter Kennedy, looking for Peter Carey. Ironmonger in front. I think he had the ball long enough. Played it on immediately to Ken Judge. He's playing well in the centre of the ground. Richardson runs past the ball. Riley's in there for South Australia. It finally comes out to Andrew Aish. A beautiful movement to the centre of the ground, and there's Ralph Sewer. He was legged. He's also off. Ralph Sewer dummied the handball to Russell Ebert. Goes long. Evans on a lead. Putting the hand up McGuinness, but he was into the back of his Western Australia opponent, and that's Ross Gibbs. Gibbs playing at half-back for the Sandgropers. McGuinness is probably at half-forward. The kick to Peter Carey. He can't mark it. Ironmonger taps the ball forward. Narkle. Andrew Aish. Narkle kicked the ball looking for Moss, but in front Phillips. The handball's not a good one, but it ended up with Nailey. Nailey kicks a high ball to centre half-forward. Eddie Fry in front. One grab, couldn't mark. Hayes missed the ball completely. Weston fell over. Doesn't appear to be in form, Weston. Hayes kicks attack side of centre. Marking the ball is Blackwell. Western Australia with another chance. Eckerman knocking away. There goes Ralph again. Hughes is intercepted. Eckerman does it well, and the kick is to centre half-forward for South Australia. High as Hayes. Tapped the ball down to Phil Cronin. Western Australia out of trouble.
Moss getting underneath the ball on the outer side, can't find it. He butters up again, uses his body well. He's going to come out with the ball. Andrew Aish has gone down with a facial knock. It's Alexander down the outer side, puts a long one in. Judge getting underneath the ball and takes a good mark at centre half forward, 35 metres out. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if Andrew Aish has a facial injury. Seemed to take a knock with a head, not deliberate of course, but Ken Judge, who set that goal up beautifully for Ralph a few minutes ago, has a set chance 35 metres out. Western Australia down by 3 points. They have now hit the front into time on of the first quarter with Judge's first goal. 5-2 Western Australia leads South Australia 4-5.
The Western Australians are going forward far more smoothly than South Australia. They're going forward quicker too. Moss at centre half forward, too much height for Phillips. And the Rovers, Shaw and Taylor, ripping South Australia apart, and they're certainly looking good. 5-2, South Australia 4-5.
Andrew Aish looking okay, held his head for quite some time. Carey against Ironmonger and Michael. They've got a two-pronged attack there, gets the handball out. The umpire said it's too slow. Umpire Phillips for Western Australia has given the free kick to South Australian skipper Weston. To Platten too far. That's not a good effort at all. And I think it is Barrett who's come in and taken the mark. For Western Australia, half-back flank. A high kick towards centre wing. Moss is there. Carey over the top. Fine mark. Danny Jenkins at centre wing. Sets up the short one to Platten. That's a better pass. Quickly now over Nailey. Graham wants it. Good football. Caught on the left leg. Wobbles one in towards Evans. Evans and Holden. Up they fly. Holden too strong in the air and takes another fine defensive mark. From the back pocket. Returns the ball towards the half-back flank. Carey using his body, gets his hands to it, can't bring it down. Even wants back-up support, try to get a handball away. Michael disposes of him. Narkle over the centre line, but a free kick will go the way of Russell Ebert for a push in the back against Stephen Michael. A 15-metre penalty is also imposed on Western Australia, and so Ebert will get his free kick from the half-forward left flank.
He fought well, Russell Ebert, but Stephen Michael was unlucky. All he did was put the hand on him. Ebert's kick, well, Evans on a lead. I don't know if it was meant for him, but it certainly ended up there. Not too sure what Russell Ebert intended to do with the ball, but perhaps Evans knew a lot more than we did. Tim Evans, he's got one so far, but Ray Holden has probably had the better of the duels. Evans' kick is offline, 1 point. South Australia wasting opportunities, 4-6. Western Australia 5-2. Doesn't look like Ray Holden will be kicking this one off. Appears to be the back pocket player in Gibbs, Ross Gibbs. Western Australia are going to work the ball out of defence. That's John Hayes. The kick is to centre wing, looking for Stephen Michaels. Oh, it's gone through to Kevin Taylor again. He's a good rover. Plenty of pace. Superb balance. He's going to run the ball right through half-forward. Then he'll go short, looking for Judge, but great interception from Dexter Kennedy. Plays on immediately and looking for Ivan Eckerman. The ball was over his head, but he's got a paddock. He'll need it, Ivan. He's not too quick. Gets boot to ball. Looking for McGuinness. McGuinness stopped. Summed it up. Andrew Ace through. Ball to boot. Looking for Evans. Holden. Evans. Evans can't mark. Through for a point. 4-7 South Australia. Western Australia 5-2.
A fine kick then by Andrew Ace. Ground covering kick. His 6th. This time Holden will take the kick in and will go to the outer side. Carey's out there. Ironmonger in front. First to recover was Manane. Couldn't get it away. Ironmonger tries to tap it out, but he's given Ace the run of the ball. About to be tackled by Manane. Gets around that player. Wants to handball. Carey, half forward line. Platten. Oh, that's bad football, South Australia. Platten under the hammer. Coming through quickly now was Gibbs, who gets the ball back towards Manane. At centre wing, if he can keep it in place, centimetres from the line. Around Platten. Through it goes, but Carey has taken the mark. The attack side of centre wing. Kennedy, a high kick to the half-forward line. Evans, over the top of Graham and also Dimmer, and looking Holden there. You can see him admonish himself for letting Evans take such an easy chest mark.
That's twice that he's done it, Ian. He read the ball pretty well on Russell Ebert's last kick, and he did it again. And he missed the last shot for goal. This is an important one for South Australia. They haven't done too well in this first quarter.
30 metres out in front. Evans' kick is home. That's his second goal. And South Australia resume the lead, 5-7 to 5-2, 30 minutes into the first quarter. The second quarter of the big interstate clash at Football Park. South Australia 5-8, lead Western Australia 5-2. At the centre bounce, a line ball. Western try to get through, couldn't get it out. They go in hard for the ball. Quickly at the bottom of the pack is Jim Sewell for Western Australia, and he must have come on at quarter time. Wasn't sighted in the first quarter, and would be one of the interchange players. Ironmonger against Carey. Michael over the top on the scissors, but a free kick will go the way of Ironmonger. Check side of the centre circle, runs the handball to Taylor. That's good football, and away go WA again in towards Ralph. He's going to get a leap at it. No, didn't get off the turf. Riley overruns it, going to the bottom of the pack there. It looks to be Spencer, but the umpire says he can't get rid of the ball and will come in and bounce. South Australia appear to have lost Russell Johnson in the early minutes of the game, which is going to mean a big strain on Peter Carey, the lone big man, unless Kennedy's given a run on the ball. Nailey takes the ball away, but it's a poor handball. Giles likewise. Nailey butters up again. Burrowing in for the ball also for South Australia is John Riley, but another bounce on Western Australia's half-forward line. Kicking with the breeze towards the lake end. Probably about 2 goals as they trail by 6 points. South Australia frittered away opportunities. Nailey gets the handball over. A chance now for South Australia through Belton, the running part. Nailey again. Collard. Danny Jenkins gone for holding the ball. A great tackle or a throw paid on him, and it's Phil Narkle to get the free kick from the defence side of centre.
A tremendous interstate performer, Narkle. Kicks the ball to half-forward. That's a high ball. That's his 6th kick. Moss tapped it further afield, as he did once in that first quarter. He's playing well, Moss. Riley kicked the ball off the ground then. It's gone out of bounds, and it will be thrown in. South Australia 5-8 have wasted opportunities. Western Australia 5-2.
Peter, I can't see Russell Johnson on the bench, so it looks like bad news for South Australia.
Western Australia have a chance here, but they're caught holding the ball. That looked to be Ken Judge. Not too happy with the decision. Phillips, the centre half-back for South Australia, will take the free kick.
Peter, for Western Australian viewers, we might just tell them that the interpretation this year over here, that if you duck your head with the ball like that and get caught, it's going to be paid holding the ball, and maybe this is where Western Australia doesn't understand the different interpretation, but certainly they'll learn.
Riley took the mark. Blackwell kicked it forward. Blackwell's done pretty well in the centre for Western Australia. Well, Riley's kick is a danger kick. Western Australia have a chance through Shaw. Shaw got it to Taylor. Rover to Rover. Interception, Eckerman. Paul Belton for South Australia. Andrew Ace, the runner. South Australia go forward. The kick is to half-forward. Evans couldn't get to the ball, and the mark is taken by Peter Kenny. At centre half-back, the umpire's blowing the whistle, having some fun. Ironmonger tapped the ball further afield to Narkle. Almost in slow motion here at the moment. Western goes for Narkle. Kick number 7 to the Western Australia wingman. And a good effort by Western to keep the ball in that area. It'll be balled in. South Australia 5-8, Western Australia 5-2.
3 minutes into the second quarter. Ironmonger against Curley. Ironmonger tried to pull it back. He did that one well. Taylor comes out with the ball, playing a fine game for Western Australia. Phillips gets his hands to it, coming through strongly. Riley gives a chance now. Belton clear midfield. The Crow Eaters going to attack with a long kick up towards Evans. Fry up, can't bring it down. Quickly through there, all South Australian player in Sewer has given away a free kick with a very clumsy tackle indeed. He made no attempt to go for the ball and just ran the Western Australian player down. Sewell at centre wing. Fry gets out the handball. Belton, a chance South Australia now. Oh, not a good handball at all. That was a shocking handball. And Dimmer comes through and feeds Moss. He's at centre wing. South Australia's handball letting them down as Moss now gets a wobbly old kick towards the half-forward line. Not a good effort, although Shaw gets it over. Gives a chance to Judd. Judge puts a high one in towards Ralph Hall. Getting back there is Alexander searching for it. Oh, he almost kicked the goal himself. The ball just kept on going, went over the head there of Alexander and hit for a point.
5-3 Western Australia, South Australia 5-8. Kicking off is Danny Hughes, the South Australian fullback, searching for Carey. Ironmonger's a mile out of the scene, and according to the umpire, Phil Narkle pushed Peter Carey in the back. The big South Australian ruckman plays on. Oh, great interception by Paul Weston. He bursts through half forward. The handball's over to Platten. Platten onto the left boot. Into the goal square. Oh, great leap there by Kenny. Diving on top of the ball. Platten's in there for South Australia. Ball the boot. And Platten gets his second goal. 6-8 South Australia. Western Australia 5-3.
Well, maybe young John Platten made an error in the first instance. He got himself onto the left foot and his first shot at goal wasn't good when a handball was on back to one of his teammates supporting himself. But certainly he fought on brilliantly to burrow out of that pack and snap truly with his fifth kick for his second goal. And South Australia now 6-8, Western Australia 5-3.
Ironmonger to do battle with Peter Carey. Ironmonger got hand to ball. Narkle tried to get through the pack, couldn't. Belton doing better for South Australia now. Well, the kick didn't appear to be a good one, but it almost found Platten. Picking the ball up for the West is Rod Barrett, and Western Australia go out of defence. Spencer, haven't seen a lot of him. On the Narkle, he's got plenty of run. Ralph on a lead, beautifully spoiled by Hughes, but according to umpire Des Foster, not Foster, that's umpire Phillips from Western Australia, Hughes was into the back of Warren Ralph. An exciting player, Ralph. The leading goal kicker in Western Australia this year so far. Kick number 3. He's got one, but he's a long way out on this occasion. Alexander, off hands, 1 point. Western Australia 5-4, South Australia 6-8.
Developed into a hard slog. Kennedy kicking in for South Australia. Coming not a good kick at all. Fortunately for South Australia, finds Riley. Riley on the half-back flank with kick number 7. Goes towards midfield. Sewer is there. Wants to play on. Dimmer over his mark. Kicks to the half-forward line. A lot of pushing and shoving there. Well done, Fry. Fry on the half-forward line. Goes in long. 1-on-1. Evans and Holden. The ball dropping short. Evans tucked away. Platten 10 metres out. Hooks. Not going to make the distance. Oh, that'll be play on for sure. Tucked away. Quickly in now for South Australia. There was number 22 is Belton who thumped the ball away. But a free kick will be given to Western Australia's Gary Shaw. Platten with the opportunity then. Shaw back towards Sewer, centre wing. Sewer in front. Sewer on Sewell, and Sewer takes a good mark. Runs it over to Phillips. Over the half-forward line. South Australia's centre half-back has a long pop at goal. This is going to be close. I think he's got it. Oh, what a goal! Tremendous rebound from South Australia's centre half-back. His first. And SA move on to 7-8, leading Western Australia 5-4.
Not something that Greg Phillips normally does, but he ran down beautifully there. Ralph Sewer, the handball was quick and sharp. Phillips ran through and kicked the goal. South Australia 7-8, Western Australia 5-4.
Ironmonger against Carey. No one got their hand to it. Finally, it was Belton to Weston. Weston high in. Towards the half-back line they go, but a fine mark taken in defence by Barrett. Read the ball well. He, in turn, will go to the outer side, looking out there for Taylor, but it's Spencer in front who takes the ball. Jack-sided centre wing as he centres it towards his half-forward line. Moss is going to get a leap at this one. Carey got his hands to it too. Michael ducked away by Giles. Belton a chance. Weston going to have a bounce. Draws the player. South Australia in a chance here. Sewer. Platten steadies. 40 metres out. Gives it a chance. Goal! Third goal to Platten. Fine play, South Australia. 8-8. They lead WA 5-4.
Western Australia very loose in the middle of the ground. The ball came over the top. Weston picked it up, moved it on to Sewer, then to Platten. And Platten, with his 7th kick, brought up his 3rd goal. 8-8 South Australia. Western Australia 5-4. And I would say that Mal Brown has got a few problems at the moment.